The endless void of space stretched before them, a dark canvas dotted with countless stars. Through this cosmic ocean moved the refugee fleet of the Stellar Republic, their ships worn and tired from months of constant travel. The fleet resembled a gathering of metal islands, scattered across the darkness like fallen leaves on a black pond. Commander Hanbin Park kept his eyes fixed on the distant stars, his reflection barely visible in the transparent barrier of the observation deck. His once pristine uniform now showed signs of wear, much like the spirits of his people. The weight of leadership rested heavily on his shoulders as he watched over the 12 ships that carried the remains of their civilization. The air recyclers hummed their endless song, a sound that had become as natural as breathing to the refugees. The observation deck offered a clear view of their situation. Fuel reserves running low, repair drones working constantly to patch worn hull plates, and the ever-present fear of what lurked behind them in the darkness. Officer Yuna Lee sat at her station, her eyes scanning the streams of data that flowed across her holographic screens. Her fingers moved with practiced grace, monitoring the status of their fleet and the surrounding space. The soft blue glow of the displays cast shadows across her focused face. "Status report," Park called out, his voice carrying the authority earned through years of service. "All ships maintaining formation," Lee responded, her eyes never leaving her screens. "Fuel reserves at 28%. Life support systems stable but stressed. Food synthesis units operating at reduced capacity." Park nodded, the numbers matching his expectations. They needed to find sanctuary soon, or their escape would have been for nothing. Their pursuers remained far behind, but the distance grew smaller with each passing day. The quiet routine of the bridge continued, officers performing their duties with the efficiency born of desperate times. The gentle beeping of monitoring systems provided a steady rhythm to their work, until a sudden high-pitched alert cut through the familiar sounds. Lee's hands froze above her controls, her eyes widening as new data flooded her screens. "Commander," she called out, her voice tense with uncertainty. "Unknown vessel detected on long-range scanners." Park turned from the observation window, crossing the deck in quick strides. "Show me." The main display sprang to life, showing a massive shape moving through space. The vessel dwarfed their largest ships, its design unlike anything in their database. No smooth curves like Republic ships, no sharp angles like their pursuers. This craft followed its own rules of construction. "Size comparison?" Park asked, studying the strange vessel. "At least 3 times the length of our flagship," Lee reported, her fingers working quickly to gather more data. "Power readings are unusual. Their energy signature doesn't match any known pattern." The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the mysterious ship drew closer. Its hull gleamed with an unfamiliar metal, and strange protrusions dotted its surface in patterns they couldn't understand. But most striking were the markings along its side. Clear, bold characters unlike any language they knew. "UES Dauntless." "No match in our records for that designation," Lee added, her voice barely above a whisper. "Their approach vector suggests they detected us, Commander. They're adjusting course directly toward our fleet." Park stood straight, his mind racing through options. Their ships were too low on fuel to run, too damaged to fight. Everything depended on the intentions of this unknown vessel. "Send broadcasts on all frequencies," he ordered. "Standard greeting protocols. And wake the linguistics team. We might need them." As the messages began transmitting, Park returned to the observation window. The strange ship grew larger in their view, its true scale becoming apparent. Hope and fear warred in his chest. This encounter could mean salvation or destruction for his people. The entire bridge held their breath as the massive vessel drew near, its shadow falling across their fleet like an approaching storm. The moment stretched, filled with the weight of possibility. After months of running, of watching their civilization crumble, they faced something entirely new. Either their long flight through space had led them to hope, or they were about to meet their doom. As the UES Dauntless approached, Commander Park squared his shoulders and prepared to face whatever came next. The fate of his people hung in the balance, suspended in the endless dark between the stars. Captain Daeho Kim stood on the bridge of humanity's most advanced warship, his eyes fixed on the scattered fleet before him. The UES Dauntless hummed with power beneath his feet, its systems running with the precision that Earth's finest engineers had achieved. Through the massive viewport, he watched the refugee ships, their hulls scared and their engines struggling to maintain their course. "Analysis of the refugee fleet?" he asked, his voice calm despite the historic nature of this moment. Earth's first contact with alien life was unfolding before them, though not in the way decades of science fiction had imagined. Officer Jai Yun-song worked at her station, her fingers moving across the holographic controls with practiced ease. 12 vessels of varying sizes, Captain. Their power systems are running at critical levels. Life signs detected on all ships, thousands of them. Their technology is advanced, but their ships show severe damage and lack of maintenance. Kim nodded, processing the information. The Dauntless had picked up their distress signals by chance, the faint cries for help reaching across the vast emptiness of space. His crew had trained for first contact scenarios, but nothing had prepared them for finding a civilization in flight. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Min Su Kang from the communication station, "we're receiving transmissions from their lid vessel. Multiple frequencies, different encoding patterns. They're trying to establish contact." "Begin decoding protocols," Kim ordered. "Run their signals through the translation matrix. Let's see if we can understand what they're saying." The bridge crew worked with focused intensity, each person aware of the weight of this moment. Humanity had dreamed of this day, of meeting other intelligent life among the stars. But instead of a diplomatic meeting or peaceful exchange, they had stumbled upon what looked like a refugee crisis. Song's station suddenly lit up with new alerts, her expression changing from concentration to concern. "Captain, multiple signatures detected at extreme range, pursuing the refugee fleet, 7 vessels, heavily armed. Their energy readings suggest advanced weapon systems." The tactical display showed the approaching ships, angular, predatory shapes moving through space with clear purpose. Their design was completely different from the refugee vessels, marking them as a separate species or faction. "They're charging weapons," Song reported, her voice tense, energy buildup detected in their forward arrays. They seemed to be preparing for an attack run on the refugee fleet. Kim felt the weight of command settle more heavily on his shoulders. The Dauntless was Earth's most advanced ship, but they had never tested their technology against alien weapons. Every decision he made now would not just affect his crew, but potentially the future of human-alien relations. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered, his voice carrying across the bridge. "Bring all defensive systems online. Power up the kinetic barriers and charge the main guns." The bridge transformed as the crew responded to the alert. Red warning lights cast their glow across the stations, and the low hum of the ship's power core deepened as systems prepared for combat. "Sir," Kang called out, "translation matrix has partial success. The refugees are begging for assistance. They'd been running for months, their resources almost depleted." Kim rose from his command chair, studying the tactical display. The pursuing ships were closing fast, their weapons hot. Whatever conflict they had stumbled upon, he couldn't stand by and watch civilians be slaughtered. "Navigation, plot and intercept course," he commanded. "Position us between the refugee fleet and their pursuers. Communications, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies. Let's make our presence known." The Dauntless moved with grace despite its size, its engines pushing it smoothly into position. The refugee ships grew larger in their view, and now they could see the true extent of damage these people had endured in their flight. "Pursuing vessels will be in weapons range in 3 minutes, Song reported. "They're accelerating. I don't think they're going to stop for a conversation, Captain." Kim straightened his uniform, his decision made. Humanity's first contact would not be a peaceful exchange of knowledge, but a test of their principles. If they turned away now, they would be starting their journey among the stars by abandoning those in need. "Power up all combat systems," he ordered, "but hold fire unless fired upon. Let's show them that humanity knows how to stand up for what's right." The bridge crew worked with renewed purpose, preparing their ship for what might come. Through the viewport, they could see the refugee fleet more clearly now, vessels limping through space, carrying thousands of lives seeking safety. Behind them, the pursuing ships grew larger, their weapons glowing with deadly intent. Humanity's first step into galactic politics would be a trial by fire, but Captain Kim and his crew stood ready. The Dauntless lived up to its name, preparing to face whatever challenges these unknown stars might bring. The silence on the refugee fleet's bridge shattered as their communication systems sparked with incoming signals. Commander Park leaned forward, his tired eyes fixed on the main display where streams of data poured in from the unknown vessel. The massive ship that had appeared from nowhere now moved with purpose, its bulk gracefully sliding between his fleet and their pursuers. Officer Yuna Lee worked quickly at her station, her hands moving across the controls as she processed the incoming transmission. "Commander, the alien ship is broadcasting in multiple formats. Their systems are different, but there's a pattern. Our computers are starting to make sense of it." The bridge crew held their breath as the first translated words appeared on their screens. The message was simple, yet it changed everything they thought they knew about the universe. "This is Captain Kim of the United Earth Ship Dauntless. We offer assistance." Park read the words several times, trying to understand their implications. Earth, a name they had never heard before, speaking a language they had never known existed, offering help when they needed it most. "Can we respond?" Park asked, his voice steady despite the hope rising in his chest. Lee nodded, adjusting their communication systems. "Yes, sir. Their transmission included basic communication protocols. We can establish a two-way link." Behind them, their pursuit had slowed. The Empire's ships, which had been relentlessly hunting them for months, now held position at a distance. Their weapons remained charged, but they too seemed to be studying this new arrival. "Open a channel," Park ordered. He straightened his uniform, aware that he was about to speak to an entirely new species for the first time. "This is Commander Park of the Stellar Republic Refugee Fleet. We accept your offer of assistance." The response came quickly, the translation becoming clearer as their systems learned the new language patterns. "Commander Park, we've detected multiple ships pursuing your fleet. Are you under attack?" "Yes," Park replied, looking at the tactical display where the Empire's ships lurked like predators waiting to strike. "We are refugees. The Empire behind us. They destroyed our homes. We've been running for months." There was a pause, and Park could almost feel the human captain considering this information. When the response came, it carried a weight of determination that made several bridge officers look up from their stations. "We understand, Commander. The Dauntless will provide protection. Please maintain your current course and speed. We'll handle the Empire's ships if they choose to engage." Officer Lee looked up from her station, her eyes wide. "Commander, the Earth ship is powering up weapons systems unlike anything I've ever seen. Their energy signatures, they're completely foreign to our databases." Through the main viewport, Park watched as panels shifted on the Dauntless's hull, revealing arrays of technology that neither the Republic nor the Empire had ever encountered. The ship's design, so strange to their eyes, now seemed to make perfect sense. It was built by a civilization that had developed along a completely different path. The Empire's response came swiftly, their message broadcast on all frequencies. "Unknown vessel, this matter does not concern you. These refugees are criminals against the Empire. Stand aside or face the consequences." Park held his breath, waiting for the humans' response. Would they withdraw, realizing the danger? The Empire's technology had overwhelmed the Republic's defenses. Would these humans fare any better? The answer came not in words, but in actions. The Dauntless remained firmly positioned between the fleets, its weapons arrays fully deployed. When Captain Kim's voice came through again, it carried a steel that Park had not heard before. This is a formal warning to all Empire vessels. Any hostile action against these refugees will be met with immediate response. We suggest you withdraw. The bridge crew of the refugee fleet watched in amazement as the Empire's ships, which had terrorized them for so long, seemed to hesitate. The humans had done something no one else had managed. They had made the Empire pause. Officer Lee, Park called out, making a decision of his own. Bring our remaining defense systems online. If these humans are willing to stand with us, we will stand with them. As the refugee fleet's systems hummed to life, Park watched the massive human ship protecting them. Their arrival had seemed like a twist of fate, but now it felt like something more. Perhaps this was not just an ending to their long flight, but the beginning of something new. The stars watched silently as three civilizations faced each other across the void. The Empire's ships hung in space like dark arrows. The refugee fleet huddled behind their unexpected guardians, and the Dauntless stood ready. Humanity's first act in galactic politics about to unfold. The Empire's message echoed across the bridge of the Dauntless, dripping with contempt. Captain Kim sat in his command chair, a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth as the alien ships hung in space before them, their weapons still charged and ready. Primitive vessel. How interesting, Kim said softly, his eyes studying the tactical display. Officer Song, what do our scans tell us about their weapon systems? Jai Yun Song's fingers danced across her console, analyzing the data streaming in. Their primary weapons are energy-based, sir. Plasma cannons, particle beams, all very advanced, but all following the same basic principles. No sign of kinetic weapons or gravity manipulation technology. Kim nodded, exactly as he had expected. The Empire, like the refugees they hunted, had developed their technology along predictable lines. But humanity had taken a different path. Begin defense grid deployment, Kim ordered. Let's introduce them to Earth's approach to space warfare. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency as the Dauntless came alive around them. Panels along the massive ship's hull began to shift and rotate, revealing systems that had been hidden beneath its seemingly simple exterior. Empire vessels are scanning us, Song reported. Their energy readings just spiked. I think we got their attention. Through the viewport, the transformation of the Dauntless continued. Rows of kinetic accelerator rails emerged from concealed bays. Gravity manipulation arrays unfolded like metallic flowers opening to the sun. Electromagnetic field generators powered up, creating overlapping layers of invisible protection around the ship. The Empire's next transmission came quickly, their previous confidence wavering slightly. Your technological display is noted, but irrelevant. Final warning: withdraw or be destroyed. Kim stood from his chair, straightening his uniform. Officer Kang, open a channel to all ships, including the refugee fleet. Let everyone hear this. Once the channel was open, Kim spoke clearly and calmly. This is Captain Kim of the Dauntless. While you focused on energy weapons, humanity has explored different paths. We developed gravity manipulation while you perfected plasma cannons. We mastered kinetic acceleration while you worked on particle beams. We combined technologies you never thought to put together. As if to emphasize his words, the final systems of the Dauntless deployed. Quantum field generators created distortion zones around the ship. Microsatellite launchers prepared their smart swarm payloads. The hull itself seemed to ripple as adaptive armor systems activated. Defense grid fully deployed, Song announced. All systems operating at optimal levels. Empire ships are. They appear to be adjusting their position. Sir, moving to a defensive formation. Kim nodded, watching as the enemy vessels shifted their stance. Their scans would be showing them something completely outside their experience. A ship that combined technologies they had never imagined could work together. Their energy weapons are powerful, Kim continued his transmission, but our quantum fields can deflect them. Their shields are impressive, but they've never faced kinetic rounds accelerated by gravity manipulation. They've built their entire warfare doctrine around energy weapons, while we've learned to use everything at our disposal. The bridge crew watched as the Empire ships continued to adjust their position, their previous aggression replaced by obvious caution. Behind the Dauntless, the refugee fleet's sensors were undoubtedly recording everything, witnessing humanity's technology in action for the first time. "You call us primitive," Kim concluded, "but perhaps you should consider that following a single path of development isn't always the best strategy. Humanity learned long ago that true advancement comes from combining different approaches, from thinking beyond the obvious solutions." The silence that followed was heavy with tension. The Empire ships remained in their defensive formation, their weapons still charged but no longer targeting the refugee fleet. The refugees themselves watched in amazement as the Dauntless's systems continued to hum with power, each one representing a different branch of human innovation. "Sir," Song reported, "I'm detecting power fluctuations in the Empire ships. They're powering down their main weapon arrays." Kim allowed himself a small smile. Sometimes the best way to prevent a fight was to show your opponent why starting one would be a bad idea. Humanity's first demonstration of their technology to the galaxy had achieved exactly what he'd hoped: respect without bloodshed. "Maintain current stance," he ordered his crew. "Let them think about what they've seen. Sometimes the best victory is the one where no shots are fired." The Dauntless hung in space, its full capabilities now on display, a testament to humanity's unique approach to technology and warfare. They had shown the galaxy that being different didn't mean being primitive. Sometimes it meant being innovative in ways others had never imagined. "Enemy fleet showing signs of disarray," Song reported. "Their coordination is breaking down. Their communications are being disrupted by our electronic warfare systems." The Empire made another attempt to press their attack, but their tactics fell apart against humanity's unconventional approach. Energy beams that should have crippled the Dauntless were deflected by quantum fields. Attempts to maneuver were thwarted by gravity wells. Their shields crumbled under kinetic impacts they had never designed for. "5 enemy vessels have lost primary power," Choi announced. "Their engines are offline. Shield systems critical. They're signaling surrender." Kim watched as the remaining Empire ships began to pull back, their formation broken, their confidence shattered. Humanity's first space battle had ended not through superior firepower, but through innovative thinking and unexpected tactics. "Stand down from combat stations," Kim ordered. "Maintain defensive posture but cease offensive operations. Let them retreat." The bridge crew relaxed slightly as the Empire fleet withdrew, their mighty ships now limping away from the battle. Behind the Dauntless, the refugee fleet had watched the entire engagement, witnessing how humanity's different approach to technology had overcome what they had thought was unbeatable. "Send message to Commander Park," Kim said. "Inform him that the threat has been neutralized. His people are safe." As the Empire ships disappeared into the darkness of space, the Dauntless's systems powered down to normal levels. The gravity wells dissipated, the kinetic weapons retracted, and the quantum fields returned to standby mode. They had achieved victory not through brute force, but by showing the galaxy that sometimes the best solution was thinking differently. "All systems returning to normal status," Choi reported. "No significant damage to our vessel. The Empire never managed to penetrate our defenses." Kim stood from his command chair, looking out at the stars where their opponents had fled. Humanity's first battle in space had proved one thing. Sometimes being different wasn't a weakness. Sometimes it was the greatest strength of all. From the bridge of his vessel, Commander Park watched with growing amazement as the human ship fought against their pursuers. The Dauntless moved with grace through space, using technologies that defied everything he thought he knew about warfare. "Their tactics are incredible," Officer Lee said, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. "The Empire's weapons can barely touch them. They fight like nothing we've ever seen." Park studied the battle unfolding before them. The Empire ships, which had terrorized his people for so long, struggled against the human vessel's strange combination of weapons and defenses. Each time they tried to press their attack, the Dauntless countered with something unexpected. How many of our ships still have functioning weapons? Park asked, an idea forming in his mind. Lee checked her displays quickly. 4 vessels still have operational weapon systems, though at reduced power. 3 more have engines capable of combat maneuvers. Park straightened in his command chair, making a decision that would change everything. Send orders to all combat-capable ships. Power up whatever weapons we have left. Today, we stop running. The bridge crew looked at him with surprise, but moved to follow his orders. After months of fleeing, of watching their civilization crumble under the Empire's attacks, they would finally stand and fight. Open a channel to all Republic ships, Park commanded, and make sure the Earth vessel can hear us too. When the channel opened, Park spoke with the strength he had kept hidden during their long flight. This is Commander Park to all Republic vessels. We have watched these humans stand against our enemies without hesitation. They fight to protect us, people they have never met. Today, we stand with them. All ships with operational weapons move to support positions. Show the Empire that the Republic remembers how to fight. The response from his fleet was immediate. Ships that had been running for months now turned to face their pursuers. Weapon systems that had been kept powered down to save energy hummed to life. The Republic fleet, though damaged and tired, prepared for battle. Republic vessels moving into attack formation, Lee reported, her voice strong with renewed purpose. The human ship is adjusting its position to coordinate with us. The Dauntless seemed to acknowledge their support, shifting its tactics to create openings for the Republic ships. Their different technologies complemented each other perfectly. The human ship's gravity wells held Empire vessels in place, while Republic energy weapons struck their vulnerable points. Empire ships showing signs of confusion, Lee announced. They didn't expect us to fight back. Their formation is breaking. Park watched as his ships, working alongside the Dauntless, pressed their advantage. The Empire had never faced opponents who combined such different fighting styles. Their tactics, designed to counter energy weapons and standard shields, failed against the mix of human and Republic technology. 2 more Empire ships disabled. Lee called out. Their right flank is collapsing. The humans are using their gravity weapons to funnel them into our firing lanes. The battle turned into a perfect demonstration of cooperation between 2 different civilizations. The Dauntless used its exotic weapons to disrupt and confuse the Empire fleet, while Republic ships struck with precise energy attacks at exposed weaknesses. Empire vessels are powering up their jump drives, Lee reported. They're attempting to retreat. Park allowed himself a small smile as he watched their longtime pursuers flee. The Empire ships, their reputation for invincibility shattered, disappeared into the darkness of space. For the first time in months, the Republic fleet floated free, no longer hunted. Send thanks to the Earth ship, Park ordered. Their arrival changed everything today. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Park looked out at his fleet, now floating alongside the massive human vessel. They had done more than just survive today. They had found allies who approached problems differently, who thought in ways his people had never considered. Commander, Lee said softly, the human captain is requesting to meet in person. They're offering to help repair our ships. Park nodded, feeling hope rise in his chest for the first time since their exodus began. The universe had seemed so dark during their long flight, but now it held new possibilities. 2 civilizations, each with their own unique approach to technology and warfare, had proved that standing together made them stronger than standing alone. Tell Captain Kim we would be honored, Park replied. Today marks the beginning of something new, not just for the Republic, but for both our peoples. The stars seemed brighter somehow as the Republic fleet and the Dauntless began their recovery operations. They had achieved more than just victory in battle. They had discovered that in the vast darkness of space, differences could become strengths, and strangers could become allies. The meeting room aboard the Dauntless gleamed under soft lighting, its walls decorated with images of Earth and its many landscapes. Captain Kim stood by the large viewport, watching as repair drones moved between the Republic ships, their work already beginning to heal the scars of long pursuit. Commander Park entered the room, taking in the unfamiliar design of human architecture. Everything about their new allies spoke of different paths taken, different solutions found to the same problems all spacefaring races faced. "Your ship is remarkable," Park said, joining Kim at the viewport. "We had no idea other civilizations could develop such different technologies." Kim smiled warmly. "Earth took its own path to the stars. We learned to combine old ideas in new ways. But today showed us something just as important. We learned we're not alone out here." The two leaders watched their crews working together. Human repair teams guided Republic engineers through the use of new repair technologies. Republic technicians shared their knowledge of energy systems with their human counterparts. "Your people have suffered greatly," Kim said softly. "How many survived the Empire's attack?" "Just under 40,000, Park replied, his voice heavy with memory. "All that remains of 3 worlds. Our colonies, our homes, all gone. We've been running for so long, I almost forgot what it felt like to hope." Kim turned to face his counterpart. "Earth has room. We have colonies, stations, whole worlds being prepared for settlement. Your people could find a home there. Help us build something new." Park's eyes widened at the offer. "You would share your worlds with strangers. Earth's history is filled with refugees who became neighbors, then friends, then family," Kim explained. "We learned long ago that welcoming those in need makes us stronger, not weaker." Through the viewport, they could see more repair drones joining the work. The Republic ship's hull plates were being restored, their engines strengthened with human technology. Already, the fleet looked less like battered refugees and more like proud vessels. "We can offer more than just shelter," Kim continued. "Think of what our peoples could learn from each other. Your energy technology, our gravity manipulation, your shield designs, our kinetic weapons. Together, we could build something neither of us could create alone." Park walked slowly along the viewport, watching his people working alongside humans. "The Empire still threatens other worlds. Other civilizations might face what we faced. Then we'll face those challenges together," Kim replied. "Earth didn't come to the stars to conquer or rule. We came to explore, to learn, and yes, to help where we can." The two leaders spent hours discussing details, laying the groundwork for their people's shared future. Human ships would escort the Republic fleet to Earth's space. Republic scientists would share their knowledge with human researchers. 2 civilizations, each with their own strengths, would grow stronger together. As their meeting drew to a close, Park looked one last time at his battered fleet. "When we first saw your ship approach, we feared it might bring our doom. Instead, it brought us hope. Hope is what humanity does best," Kim said with a smile. "We've learned that the darkest moments often come just before dawn." In the years that followed, the story of the Dauntless and the Republic fleet became legend. It was told in human schools and Republic gatherings, a reminder that strength comes in many forms. The Republic refugees found new homes among Earth's colonies, bringing their knowledge and culture to humanity's worlds. The Empire's influence waned as more civilizations learned of humanity's different approach to technology and warfare. Earth and the Republic established a joint protection fleet, combining their technologies to defend those who needed help. But most importantly, the galaxy learned that humanity's arrival didn't herald conquest or war. Instead, it brought something the stars had needed: guardians who thought differently, who solved problems in new ways, and who believed that helping others was the greatest victory of all. The Dauntless remained in service, a symbol of that first meeting between humans and the Republic. Its name became synonymous with hope, a reminder that sometimes the greatest changes come not from force, but from extending a helping hand to those in need. And in the vast darkness between the stars, 2 civilizations grew together, proving that differences could become strengths, and that even in the darkest night, dawn would always come.